What's it called?
How the Other Half Lives.
Sweet.
It's all my trade secrets.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna write it as a fiction.
Neat. So I can ask you questions then about what it's like dating a psychic, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
And can we talk about what you do? You're a professional poker player, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Can we just, because here's how the show works. There's no rules, no rhyme, no reason. If there's anything, whenever I say the Bob Dean Show, we all, very unenthusiastic, we all just go, yay.
Yay.
So if I'm like, so tell us about here on the Bob Dean Show, we all go, yay. Right? I like that.
It's funny.
But if there's anything you want to bring up about what you're going to be doing or anything, you just go say, hey, I'd like to talk about this. You know, same thing. Okay.
I'm just happy I met you guys. You know,
Well, I'm happy to meet you. Any friend of hers is a friend of mine. You need to go over there. This is my
we
seat.
gotta
Oh,
take
it is.
you out one
I was
night
wondering,
when you're not working.
that was your seat.
No, dear. This is my seat.
Wait,
But no, wait. Now, is he on?
Yeah, we'll get him.
Okay, good. No, this is where I sit right here. Number 3.
Wait. Oh, so last time, what's
Johnny
his-
was there.
Oh,
You were here. I was here.
You're supposed to call me Johnny Cosmo. I'm like, okay, Ken. Oh, sorry, John. Sorry. I'm gonna sign those. I gotta think
Okay.
about it for a minute.
I am up to Kathy and Bob and Lily, your dog,
Kathy and Bob. Oh, I changed all the names.
that you met at the vet's office when your dog ate the.
Oh, yeah.
plastic.
Brian and Bill, yeah. Oh.
And do you see Tony still when you move and stuff? Wait, let's talk about this.
Yeah, okay.
When we're on the show, is that okay?
Yeah.
What is this in my pocket?
Cigarettes.
No, it's a cell phone. I can't believe I fucking-
Hey, Bob, we're rolling.
Just a cell phone.
The LeBaron came back.
Oh, great.
Well, it's back in the garage when I pulled out, so he probably finally fixed the brakes. Did you ever see my commercial in the Speedo?
Wait, Bob, start the show.
Wait, let me see it. I
Nope,
think
I
I
wanna show-
did.
It's so fucking funny. Oh, are we on?
Yep.
All right, we're on, everybody. Let's see. So we are being broadcast live right now. Hello. Okay, live. I love saying that. From the Sunset Strip in beautiful Hollywood, California. It's the Bob Dean Show.
Yay.
Hey,
Now, we have, first of all, I want to say this before I forget. The Bob Dean Show does not endorse in any way Wells Fargo Home Mortgage because they're fucking crooks. And Tower Urology in Beverly Hills because they are crooks as well. I wanted to get my little wee-wee checked in. It was fine. But they didn't tell me when I came out that my insurance wasn't part of their network. You know, so I give them my insurance card, they take all the information, they're like, yes, good afternoon, la 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 la, and they give me my insurance card back, and then I come out and they go, that'll be $455, and I was like, are you out of your mind? So anyway, I just like to make sure that those are only my opinions, not of my guests or producer, Samee, Junio. Dennis Alsin is not here today, and Kathy St. George is not here today. I hope they're watching. Kathy fell and hit her head, and she's been having some, what do you call it, neurological issues. She's going to be fine. She's getting better, but she was a little wobbly today, so I told her just to stay home. But she's coming over to our house for movie night soon with her fabulous dog, Maybelline. Yes, and now I am here again with my friend and returning to the Bob Dean Show.
Yay.
Is Jennifur Diamond. My friend, this beautiful blonde, is also a psychic. And she's got her boyfriend with her today. And I realized that I met you the other night and we had some laughs at the bar, but I don't even know your last name.
Lind, L-I-N-D.
Michael Lind. And you guys are and you're a professional poker player.
That is correct.
How interesting is that? Now remember, you can look at the camera and say hi to everybody down there.
Hello.
Yay! We're live on Facebook. So you guys are in Boca.
We're in Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, we had to move. I couldn't do the 600 mile week drive.
Well, I mean, I know you moved from here,
Yeah, but
but I
from
thought you
Boca.
moved to Boca.
I did.
Where are you in Lauderdale? I love
right-
Lauderdale. I lived there for a long
Right
time.
in the heart of Fort Lauderdale.
Like, so where?
Commercial.
Commercial and federal?
Yeah.
My good friends Clark and Dickie, you'll have to meet them sometime. They live in Aurora Hills, but he's a native up there. His folks still live there. I love Fort Lauderdale. My first apartment was, there were 4 of us guys living in a 1-bedroom apartment on Federal Highway at this dive called, and this was in 1982. You know, I was 21 years old. and we were just 4 guys that all moved down there, and when we all worked in restaurants, and 2 guys slept on the floor, 2 guys slept in the bed, 1 guy slept on the sofa, and 1 guy slept on the floor, and we rotated every night. So it was like my turn on the bed, and then next to David, then David was on the sofa, like that. But that was at the Ancon Apartments on Federal Highway.
And what?
Sunrise, it was between Sunrise and, what is,
There you go.
the other one that goes over across to the marina there, I mean, to the ocean. It's not a really great section of Fort Lauderdale, or at least it wasn't back then. It's
Oh,
probably
by 17th.
gentrified now.
17th.
Yeah. Between 17th, it's just a few blocks up from 17th.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you go a little further in, the little houses that have been there forever are nice, but when it was right along Federal Highway, there was a lot of hookers. There were prostitutes that would come and park in because there was an alley behind the building where we lived. And they'd park with their johns right there, and I'd hear them idling, at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd go out there and bang on the window, be like, get the fuck out of my fucking house. I'm such a...
Breaking up the party.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to watch people just freak out. But I'm the part of the neighborhood watch. I am too. I'm that old man that screams, get off on my lawn, and I don't have a lawn. So, do you guys go to the beach?
Not yet, too much. We're too busy going from casino to casino.
Yeah, you
Well,
enjoy the casinos?
We did go to the beach on New Year's, or
Oh, we did.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
Yeah.
You should. Too bad you weren't at my house for my Happy Birthday Baby Jesus cocktail soiree. It's a great party. It's
I
a
missed it.
benefit for the Humane Association, but if you couldn't have been there, at least you're at the beach.
Well, hopefully we'll have something going on this summer for us. We'll be here all summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely have a
June,
party.
July, August.
We'll definitely have a party. I wish we could be here. Oh, by the way, Samee, Sunday, March 10th, and for all of you out there in video and listener land, Sunday, March 10th is my birthday dance-a-thon at the Abbey, 1 p.m. sharp. Don't be fashionably late, because when people were fashionably late, I wasn't there 2 years ago. I mean, I get drunk and I leave. But we have a ball. That's why we all meet at 1 o'clock, because there's nobody there. And when I drink, I smoke, and I make no apologies for it. And at the Abbey, you can take 2 feet out, and you're outside, so you
I
can
love
smoke.
the Abbey.
I do too. But I don't like it when it's really packed with all the beautiful people. There's too,
It's hard to avoid in LA.
Yeah, right. I thought
Everything's beautiful up there.
I thought about that. Where was I? Oh, when I went to the America's Got Talent auditions, which there was like 5,000 people in a giant line, like at the airport. It was really fascinating to do, and I haven't heard back, so I guess I don't think that I have any talent. It could be any day. But I did my stand-up, and I was great. But man, I called my friend on the phone, and I called Nikki Kemp, and Nikki, that real pretty black girl that works behind the bar at
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wolfgang. She's a really good friend of mine. And I go, I hate to say this, but I've never seen so many unattractive people in my life.
Where?
In Pasadena, in line for America's Got Talent auditions.
Really?
I mean, there were like 3-eyed midgets and
Well, that's right, because they got all sorts of stuff going on.
yeah, but they were just some really homely people, and I'm no prize anymore either. But at least I'm tall. So what's new with you guys? I am in the middle of your book, Waking Up Psychic, which you can get on Amazon, and Top 50 Psychics and Mediums in the USA, your second book. I have not started yet. And you are working on a third, you're telling us.
Yes, I am.
Tell us about it.
Well,
If you want to.
I'll fill you in later.
Okay. Well, just keep.
Lots of secrets.
Okay, well, you don't want to reveal them here to our 10,000?
Taking it in stride.
Got it. Okay. Well, because I love to write my comedy, but it has to come in waves. Like, I can't just sit down and go, I got to write something today. But when I feel like the ideas come, there's nothing more fun than
write
just.
for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah,
It's a great feeling.
I haven't spent much time in the last few weeks, so I have to get back at it a little bit.
Well, you've been out here. How long have you been? When did you guys get out here?
Week and a half ago.
Week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's your story, dude? Are you out here for a tournament?
Yeah, I am. I'm here for the World Poker Tour,
Yeah.
the LAPC, over at the Conrads.
That's awesome. I need to hook you up with my friend Billy Malone. He's an actor. He and his wife Barbie, Barbie Clickman. She's celebrated in everything. She's all over the they're both all over the television, in front of it, behind the camera. But he's a big poker player too. He's playing Vegas a lot.
Okay.
But he's just a real good guy. But yeah, so have you been playing poker since you were a kid? What's the story?
No, probably, I'm gonna say 8 years ago, in South Florida. You know, got kind of bored and, had friends that were playing poker, so learned, at the Hard Rock. And, started out right out the gate, playing in larger games. I didn't start them, you know, and the guys at the poker table, they loved me, cause, you know, I was giving my money away. And then, you know, just donating it. But, learned how to play the game and, started getting better and better. Last year, the World Poker Tour invited me to be on the TV series filmed here in LA that airs on March 31st on Fox. The March 31st.
This 31st.
That is
Oh,
correct.
sweet. See, that's something we
That's
need. So on March 31st on Fox, you can see Michael. Last name again?
Lind, L-I-N-D.
Michael Lind. I'll ask you that 100 times.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And so we'll look for that on the 31st. So that's big business, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Well, I mean, do you feel like you've got, because I have another friend, no names mentioned, I really would like to mention because I'm on the outs with this person, but I would never do that. Not kidding. But this person that is got kind of a touch with baccarat, and this person I know does very well, you know, at the table. So is that kind of a feeling that you have? I mean, like you just, like, I don't want, for lack of a better term, like a golden, what do you call it, golden touch or something? I mean, you're just really good at it, or do you feel lucky? Is what I mean. Is luck a big issue in it with?
Well, like they say, I'd rather be lucky than good, but you know, it just depends on the day.
It's a little bit of both.
She comes with me a lot. Not only do I play poker, I play the baccarat, you know, and blackjack, but high stakes, and she keeps me under control though, because I'm a horrible loser. But when I'm winning, the dealers love me because I tip very well, and you know, I really truly believe in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to do that.
Yeah. But it just depends on the day, you know, with the luck, you know.
I'm a bad loser too.
Yeah.
The first time I ever gambled, I was in Kansas City with my friend Susan, and we went to the casino. We dressed, and we went to the casino for dinner, and she was playing blackjack, and this is back when you put coins in the slot machines. And I mean, I was having fun, and I like the old ones where you pull the handle and it pays out the coins, you know, it's just the sound of it, and you know, actually having it in your hand, these little ticket things are like, eh. But the point is that it was just like in the movies, this guy he's sitting at this machine and he's smoking, and there's all these empty wrappers, and he's playing the same machine, and I had noticed, it was like a weeknight, so there weren't a lot of people around, and I noticed that like these old ladies were playing like 3 in a row. So the guy gets up and leaves, and I'm like, because I didn't want to look like some kind of hick, which of course I was. And I walked over and I put some money in the machine that he had done, and like after the third thing, I hit it for like $180, and I thought I was friggin' Mr. Moneybags, man, because it's like, woo, ding, 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 ding. Everybody's like, yay, right? So what do? I mean, I stand up and I order tequila and I fire up a friggin' Marlboro, and I'm playing 3 machines like this, and of course in 5 minutes the $180 is gone. So I go walking back. I'm walking up the aisle with my hands in my pockets, and Susan's a very attractive blonde, and she's sitting there, she's smoking a cigarette with her legs crossed at the blackjack table, and I woke up and she doesn't even look, she goes, go away. And I go, what? And she goes, I'm not joking. She goes, I know people in this casino, and you just made such a jackass out of yourself. Go away. And I was like, my head between my legs, because I made a complete fool out of myself. But now the Hard Rock, that's in Fort Lauderdale, because they built that. I left Miami in I think '95.
Oh, they built it like after 2000.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's relatively new. So I've been going for a long time. My days in South Florida were in the '80s and into the '90s.
Well, they had a smaller casino right across the street. You know, where you're able to smoke in there and play back in the olden days. Back when I was there too. I've been in Florida for forever, but so the Seminoles, you know, they had a lot of money to spend. They knew that, you know, hey, they were gonna make some big investments, and you know, Donald Trump was, as a matter of fact, involved in that early on, and then something happened, some litigation and all that other stuff. But it's huge. Right now, they're building a hotel that looks like a guitar, and it's going to be open in what they say, November this year.
Yeah.
It's getting ready for the Super Bowl, but it's going to change gaming in South Florida. I mean, it's going to be, you know, bringing a lot more players to South Florida. When Florida legalized poker, you know, with big buy-ins, you know, it got big then, but it's starting to get bigger and bigger. You know, so it's you know, the Hard Rock is a place to go have fun, but, you know, you can also lose too, so.
Sure. Well, that's where, speaking of losing, that's where Anna Nicole Smith lost her
Yeah.
life, right?
That is correct, yeah,
Mhm.
she, right there in the Hard Rock.
Well, now what's going on in Dania? I rented with a guy named Bob Bernanke. We rented this. Well, actually, he rented it and I moved in, but it was this groovy little house off Griffin Road, right across from Tropical Acres. You know where that old steak? I'm assuming it's still there.
I don't know if it is.
You know where
But I know where.
But we're near where the High Line was, right?
No, the highlight. That's where I used to shop
Okay.
in that shopping center there. But Griffin Road, if you're on going south on 95, and the design center is on the left, or it used to be the Dakota. I don't know what it is now.
It's still there, yeah.
Yeah, I worked in an art gallery there, and I, you know, club bartended at night, but I worked in that really cool gallery there. But I lived, if you go west on Griffin Road, just a short period, there's the old Tropical Acres, because it used to be like real rednecky, like trailer parks and things like that, where all the French Canadians would come down and spend, you know, that's where their trailer homes were. And it was this little tiny pocket neighborhood that was, you know, like little post-war, but it was great. It was great. We had a beautiful little house, and it was convenient, everything. And the whole point of this is I always used to I went to Dania Beach a lot. I was younger, and we went to the beach all the time. But I loved Dania Beach, and Dania had fought, I guess, for years to keep development out. Is there anything going on there now that you're aware of? Like,
Well, they
it's
built,
between Hollandale and Lauderdale.
A little bit, but not.
well, they built the casino, the Dania High Line became a full-fledged casino trying to compete with the Seminole Indians.
Mhm.
So everybody for the last 3 years was thinking that the house over in Tallahassee was gonna approve the other, you know, dog tracks and highlights.
Right.
But that fell through, but they went ahead and invested. It's a nice casino.
Mhm.
You know, I play in a high stakes poker game there with a guy that was on Survivor, Albert, that 2012 runner-up Survivor. He hosts the game there. And Jennifur's been with me. It's nice. I mean, it's okay. But Dania's building up. I mean,
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I guess I was in the era, still the small town era then. Because like when I got the itch to move there, I spent 2 weeks with my friends Barbara and what was the other chick's name? And they lived in West Palm. And that's when Singer Island was tiki bars. Singer Island and Jupiter. Huh?
My girlfriend lives there.
Yeah.
Nice place she is.
Yeah, well, it's all beautiful condos in there, but
Yeah.
seriously, back then it was tiki bars and things like that, and that's where I fell in love with it. And then when I lived in Lauderdale, it was just quiet. I mean, it's still where people went for spring break, so it would get
It's
crazy.
getting built up though now.
Yeah,
A
well, I
lot
mean,
more going on.
I know, like back then, A1A, you could go in both directions on A1A, and I mean, I loved it. I was just a kid, and you know, having fun.
Yeah, come back and visit now.
You know, it's been so many years since I've been back, and the thing about it is that I ended up on South Beach right when the gentrification was starting, and it was the coolest place in the world to live at that time. And my friends that live there now are like, "Don't come back; it'll break your heart."
Really?
Yeah, because you know the beach was, you know, skyrocketing when I was living there, and that's when all the cool people started to split. You know, in my opinion, because there were all the little mom and pop businesses that made it on Washington Avenue through all the lean years, or like what's going on in Beverly Hills now. Like overnight, they're all gone, and all the deco hotels, you know, were turning into the shishi, Euro trash kind of restaurants and all, and you know, it was just very uninviting feeling. And then they just started building and building. So I mean, I haven't been back in so many years. I'd move back to Lauderdale in a heartbeat, in a New York minute. But any further south than that, I'd have to say no. But I guess I should come for a visit.
It's changed a lot, even since I was gone, since like '04, it's built up a lot, and they're tearing a lot of stuff down now.
you know,
Rebuild.
it's still a great place to live though.
Yeah.
You got to meet my friends Gail and God, I'm getting old. This couple that they summer here. They live here in the winter, and they have a home in Palm Beach. And they got lots of dough, I guess. But Gail, you'll love her. She's cool as shit.
She's
And-
here now? Or
No,
is
they
that-
live there now. They're there now. I need to go home and dig up her email, and so you can just send her one and tell her you're a friend of mine. And she's a doll. And he was the CEO of Sara Lee, I think, for a long time. But they're just really nice people, and he collects Ferraris.
That's
You know,
nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But they're super nice, and you'll love Gail. She's neat. But I want to talk about you again now. Let's get back to you being psychic. I'm reading the book. we went into a little bit, if I hope you don't mind talking about the accident, you know, because you had talked about it before, but reading into the book, I mean, it's just so much more detailed and that sort of thing. And it's just, I cried all the way up to chapter 3. How could you not, you know?
Yeah.
And, but the accident itself, you don't remember anything about it? Because I know exactly where you were. Exactly.
You do.
I know exactly where you were sitting, and I guess I just didn't realize, you know, you probably said, but that you got hit at a dead stop from somebody going 60 miles an hour
Yeah.
in a Cavalier convertible, which is a small car.
Yeah, it was around, so the car spun around and landed on the median, which
Mhm.
saved us from getting hit from oncoming traffic.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was,
But you were, how long did it take for you to be cut out?
just under 2 hours. It took them almost 2 hours to cut me out of the car.
Mhm.
It was, because the car was so mangled.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had no problem picturing it. It was just. Now, were they able to get Tony out any faster? Because he hung with you for a long.
The same, because when they found us, he was on top of me. The back end of the car went up over the front, so there was only like 3 feet of the car left, and there was, you know, gasoline all over the street. So it was took.
Did the person that hit you lose their life?
They didn't. They actually, she was in the hospital for like 9 months, and then she was able to come out and go to trial. Worked out good.
Did it?
Yeah, but, you know, Florida back then, I mean, she ended up, I think she was sentenced to like 6 years in prison and served 9 months because of overcrowded
Mm-hmm.
jails, but yeah, but she was hurt real bad. She almost didn't make it either.
Well, when I want to get, if you know, getting back to Tony, because it's interesting how you say in the book you say that he says always with you, but it's when you move into new places is when you seem to experience him coming around. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or at least
so,
that sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, and every time I moved to a new house over 20 plus years, the first like week or so he shows up, but it's not like I see him. It's like if you were in my house, you would see him too. Other
Yeah,
people
that's
would
what
see him.
that's what I was saying about the couple that came over.
Yeah, so I had one of my nannies, we had an incident where I bought her a watch for Christmas. This was about 5 years ago, I guess, 6 years ago. So the watch it needed a link taken out of it. It was too big. So she went in the shower and set the watch on top of the towel in the bathroom, took a shower and came out, which was only like 2 feet from her.
Mm.
When she came out of the shower, the link was taken out and the watch was fitted for her size.
No kidding.
So that was the first thing, because that was she was new to that house, but actually it was longer than that, because my daughter was a little bit younger then. So that was the first thing that happened. This nanny had got freaked out by it. And so she was seeing him all over the house. A lot of times he would be in my daughter's room kind of watching over.
Mhm.
So I saw a psychic here in Los Angeles somewhere, and he was able to connect with him. And I said, well, can you tell him not to reveal himself anymore? Because he was scaring the nanny. So that was the last time that anybody else saw him. I see him though. The other medium that's the right word, right, could connect with him, but Mhm.
you couldn't, like, to tell him that?
I could, but, you know, even for me, sometimes I like validation. Because, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy, you know.
Well, that's what in reading in the book too, is like, how do you know, not hear every single person's thoughts all the time. You've got to be able to tune stuff out, right?
Yeah, it's a job. I work at it. But that probably has a lot to do with why I don't sleep real well.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
I got a buttload of Ambien if you want some.
I have all that. I mean, it works, but I gotta stay focused.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, you know, like if you're standing out on Sunset Strip and you hear all that noise, that's what it sounds like for me right now in here.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. So I have to learn to, you know, tune it out.
I'm trying to think of if this is even, because I'm not trying to make light of this by any means, but it was some show like, what's her, Medium, remember that was on, which I loved her, Patricia Arquette. Or maybe it was a movie or
The
something.
Medium, yeah, it was based on, the girl, I forget her name. Oh God, what's her name? She was on The Housewives. She was on a couple episodes because she was friends with Camille Grammer, but she kind of made herself not look so great. So I think something kind of happened with her career a little bit
Mhm.
after that. But she's really gifted.
Well, that's what it was. It was like the scene. It was where the woman, I think suddenly came out with a gift, and that there were all these people coming in all the time. Maybe it was friggin' no, Ghost. With that scene with Whoopi Goldberg, and everybody's coming into that, you know.
That's how it is, you know.
Because like when you were here last time, and you said, "Boom, my mom was here all of a sudden,"
Yeah.
and she pops around. I carry that with me a lot now too, knowing that she, you know, there's certain things I can't do anymore because I know she's watching. But
No, she wouldn't have it any other way, she says.
really,
Yeah.
can you? We were going to talk about doing a private reading, but can I just ask you a question now?
Sure.
That's very personal.
Sure.
But even though we're doing it on the Bob Dean Show,
Yay.
yeah, I lost our family home because of a flood in Tennessee. And I was insured off the Aspen. It also had things to do with Wells Fargo home mortgage and all that sort of thing. And I'm probably going to start crying because I have carry this tremendous guilt about it. And my siblings are like, "Bob, just let it go." Because what happened was mother passed away. There wasn't any money. It was just the house. And my father, because my father had business issues and he worked very hard. He was a wonderful guy. But there was really no money left. But he always said, "I will never let your mother go without this home." And then mom passed away, and I discussed it with my brother and my sisters. And I'm like, "What do you want to do?" And they're like, "Well, just, have you been there?" And I said, "Well, let's just keep it. It's real estate. It can do nothing but go up." And then I took a small loan against it to start remodeling it. It's a beautiful 4-bedroom townhome, so I didn't own the property, but my father bought it in like 1977 when it was brand new. And the flood comes, and just through a variety of circumstances that were truly out of my control, and I fought really, really hard. I did almost have a actual nervous breakdown.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, so before you brought up your sibling saying, you know, let it go, your mom came in right away and said basically the same thing, that he's carrying this around. But she says it like in a way that, she's like, "Bob, just get over it." She doesn't, not in a heartless way, but she doesn't want you carrying that, that guilt, because everybody's happy, her and your father, father's on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, but were they divorced before they?
No, they had issues like everybody, but
Okay,
they.
yeah, because I see that right before he died, it's not like they were super close.
That I was in Florida, and I don't know.
Yeah, they had issues, but they're together. My point is that they're both saying like.
That's, I swear to God, it's because I think I'm
She
over
says
it.
it's a wasted emotion, and
Thanks, Mom.
and your siblings will back her up with that.
Yeah, my sister Deb is on this past too. I don't know if she's saying anything, but
Sister?
my oldest
Was
sister.
she was
Deborah,
older.
Yeah, and she would be 62 maybe now. She was real cool. She was like.
Was she close with your mom?
And they were exactly alike.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like when I'd go to see my sister, and she lived in the Pocono Mountains of Pennsylvania with her husband, and she was exactly like my mom with her behavior and her mannerisms and all. But there are some things I won't discuss on camera that I learned later that caused them, you know. I mean, my mother loved her children, but I think my sister resented some things because she was the firstborn, the oldest kid, and that, you know, what the oldest child goes through. I mean, I was the youngest, so I had it so easy.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I'm sure they have peace together now together.
We can talk about it.
Okay.
I see her. She's here.
My sister?
Yeah.
How'd she do it?
She's actually not doing most of the talking. Your mother is.
They're together, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
She's saying some things never change. So, I don't know. Your mother just has a lot to say.
Yeah, maybe we could talk about this a little bit
Yeah.
more later.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that. But that house thing, I'm telling you, that's what everybody tells me, and I just wish I could.
It's a cross that you felt you had to bear in this lifetime, but nobody else in your family's upset about it. Nobody even, your siblings never even had a little bit of like secret grudge about it. It's only something your mom's saying that you have had issues with.
Oh, that's good to know.
Let it go.
I wish I could.
Let it go.
Especially, you know. But then what am I going to complain about?
Some of the patrons at
Oh yeah, well the bar's closing, and let me tell you what,
tomorrow, right?
the 10th, and I wish you were going to be
Oh,
here.
Sunday.
It's supposed to be the 10th,
Okay.
but it's I know it'll be packed, but that's the day of my dance-a-thon at the Abbey, as I mentioned, and I get so shit-faced, and I make no apologies for it. So Juan's going to be there by himself, and I know everybody's going to want to go there after, because normally I go to Dantana's, but we'll have to go and say goodbye. But I know he'll probably need my help, and I'll be back there all drunk. But shouldn't say that on camera either, should I? But anyway, yeah. So I'm losing my job. It's the first time. I've been a bartender for 35 years, and this is the first gig I've ever had where I didn't get fired. And it's usually normally like clockwork every 3 years for my attitude. And it's like something like somebody will be like, "Oh, I can tell the difference between Smirnoff and or Grey Goose and a Bloody Mary." I'm like, "You're out of your mind, you idiot! You can't." This is where I can't believe I didn't get fired for this. This guy walked in, and I use this in my act. This guy comes in. I'm standing there polishing the glass, like facing the door. And this nice-looking young guy comes in. He's wearing like gray slacks and a blue blazer, and he walks up, and before I could even say, "Hey, how you doing?" He goes, "I want a Belvedere martini, straight up with blue cheese olives, and shake it violently." And I went, "Like your baby?" I just slipped out. I was like your baby? And he goes like this. I go, right away. And I turn around, I'm like, oh man, I am so fucking fired.
But you weren't, were you?
No, that's the same thing. This is for saying something like that in other places, but this is the longest bar gig I've ever had. So it's really sad to say goodbye, because we're family, you know, despite the, you know, Wolfgang's been good to us, and despite all the bitching and moaning we all do about, this should be done that way, and he's not getting, but we're all.
Get a job at the Tattletale. I always wanted to go in there.
Me too.
It
In
looks
Culver
like such
City.
a seedy little dirty.
Seedy little dirty hole in the wall. And a friend of mine who she is a big time businesswoman.
Yeah.
She used to go in there all the time because their offices moved over to Culver City, and she said, I went in there with some people from the office one day, and we thought it was going to be, and she said, it was the coolest, friendliest place.
Really?
The Tattletale
Does
Lounge.
it ever close, or it's closed from like 7 a.m. to 11?
I think they open at like 6.
Yeah, I gotta go check it out.
We need to. I've always wanted to go there, and there's some other little hole in the walls too. But see, that's what I did on, you know, back in the bad old days. And I know you know what I'm thinking right now, so be quiet. But in Miami, you know, when we just didn't get a lot of sleep, you know,
Yes.
and we would wait up, you know, those bars, you know, they'd throw you out at 6. Like the club that I ran that had the Two Spirits in it. Oh, maybe.
I talk about Dantana's in there. Did you get to that?
No, I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah.
Are there spirits in there?
No, it's just
Oh,
people
just-
always seem to want readings when I'm in there, and you know those drinks are so strong. I tend to tell a lot more when I've at least had one martini, which I know I shouldn't, but I only give information that people ask for, though.
Right.
I never volunteer it.
Well, I don't know what to say on that one because I'm just thinking about because what I'm doing is picturing the bar crowd in Dantana's, and I can't go in that place unless I'm shit faced. I mean, I've got to be the first one there, or you know, because you know how it is like late at night. It's guess what? Guess what?
They're waiting for us.
Are they?
You laugh. Yeah.
But the bar that I ran on Miami Beach, I don't know, would you be able to even fine tune in on anything? There was a woman named Jean who was murdered.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's since passed.
Yeah, and she was a tiny petite blonde, and she was a lesbian, but it was a straight bar, and it was called the Rhinestone Cowboy. And this guy named Henry Welsh, who was this is right when Miami Beach was still a really rough place, and the bar was on Washington Avenue, and I get this story because the murders happened in 1985.
I was gonna say early 80s?
Yeah.
85, okay.
And I talked to witnesses who were sitting at the bar. There were 7 people, and I talked to all of them, and they all corroborated the same story. Is that this guy Henry had a crush on this woman, and she was like, "It's never going to happen," because she had a partner. And he got up from the bar, and he walked behind the bar, and he stabbed her 12 times, and then he dropped her body. And I think her dying words were, "This is my bar, I'll get you." And then he went into the men's room. The men's room and ladies' room were just 2 one-holers right next to each other, and he washed the blood off it because one of the woman who wasn't working but she was working there. She said, I don't know what possessed me, but I'll follow him. And he was washing the blood off his hands in like the little reservoir of water at the bottom of the urinal. He was like splashing the blood. We had a haunted urinal. It was crazy because at the end everything was new. And this has been over 20 years ago now, but she was so active. But when he would come, and then there were the two girls that came in one night, and they were sitting at the end of the bar, and it was early, and they were just like these two young girls, looked real hip in their leather jackets and stuff, but they were real sweet. And one girl goes, "You have a spirit in here, don't you?" And I'm like, "Well, some say." And she goes, "She's a short blonde, and she's crazy about you because I love the bar." And I was supposed to buy into it. It's sort of heartbreaking. But she said she follows you everywhere. And this girl could see her, and her friend could hear. Couldn't see, but could hear. Mm-hmm. And they were, I think they came back this the second time, and they were the same thing. And they were just down there talking, and all of a sudden, and it was early, you know, because the bar was open until 5 a.m., so we didn't get busy until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I saw them. They were looking around. I'm trying to remember exactly how, but they were like looking around. They were very concerned looking, and I'm like, "What's up?" And they go, "Something's wrong. Something's really, really wrong." And the way they described it is that Henry, who they later found, they found him dead in Loomis Park.
I was just gonna say he's not alive either, but her and Henry are definitely together on the other side.
Are they?
Mm-hmm.
Because I heard that this is the way the story went, is that, he stabbed her because he loved her, but when he would come into the bar, she would freak out, is what these girls told me. Because you could see her, she was like the Tasmanian devil. You know, I'd catch her out of the corner of my eye and it would go whoosh, and fly like this way. And that was back in the days of not these jukeboxes, there were these little machines on the side of the wall when I'm too drunk to figure out how to use them. But you went over to the Rockola jukebox and the pages flipped, you know. And we burned out 3 of those jukeboxes. Whenever the song, what was the country and western song? Hank Williams, You're Cheating Hard or something. But the jukebox would go crazy. It would be like a deck of cards going. It was neat. But my heart always broke because the woman that owned the bar, when I worked there, if they ever exorcised her out of there, or if she was still stuck in that. But Henry would come in, he would, huh?
Yeah, Jean is, I don't see, she's...
Comes, cuts this woman in a Camry, comes flying across 3 lanes of traffic, and basically cuts me off. I mean, we're inching along because it's rush hour. You know how crazy it is at the expressway. But it's this woman about my age, and she's wearing really tight Levi's and a wife beater tucked in. A really short tattoo that's like in progress. It was just like, and she go, "You're joking." Nice ink, Grandma. And I press the button and the window rolls up. She was so enraged. And I'm just like, dee, 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 dee. She goes and she opens the door, and you know how there's the thing for the trunk and the thing for the gas, right? Well, wrong thing. And the gas door pops open, which makes me go. Then she flips the trunk open and goes and pulls out a driver, and there were no other golf clubs in the trunk. So I was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, she got a fucking golf club out. She started walking up to the car, and that's when I like put it in reverse, and I made people move. I'm like, "Excuse me, babe."
I did have a little road rage here like 5 years ago. I was pissed because some guy in one of the off so bad he almost hit the front of my car. So we come up to the next light, and he's in front of me. I was so pissed. I was in my Range Rover, and he was in that thing, and I slowly pushed his car into the middle of the intersection. And he got out.
Had a girl.
He got out and came, like, pissed off, came over to my car. You know, I have limo tint windows, and I put the window down. He was like, turned around, got back in his car, and it was in the middle of the intersection.
I love it.
But you know, they drive like idiots in the...
It's out of control. And you can always tell the biggest douchebags are the ones that drive the low line BMWs and Benz. Yeah. They're the young people that have like the 3 Series or right. Well, they're the ones that just go 400 friggin' miles an hour and cut you out. And what about these mufflers that pop? You know, back when I was a kid, that was, you wanted to fix that. And now they're just these loud ass mufflers that go pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, it's, no.
Just want to slap them. Do you play golf?
I used to play golf. I don't play too much anymore. We were just talking about that like probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. Trying to, you know, me and her work out a lot, and we were working out by a golf course, riding bikes, and so we started talking about it. I kind of miss it a little bit, but you know.
Well, I was just thinking because I'm thinking of friends that David and Rhonda Clanton. David was my first roommate, and he and his wife Rhonda live in Miami Lakes, and he's a very successful business. And his daughter lives here in she was in Beverly Hills. She's Rachel. Remember Rachel Clanton, Sammy? She's beautiful. She was a model. Well, she is a model and a photographer, and she's just a sweetheart. But her little brother Luke is the #1 golfer in the world in his age group. He's like 15.
Oh, what's his name?
Luke Clanton.
I have to look him up.
Yeah, but David, you know, he golfs too, and I was like, maybe someday you'll get together.
Yeah.
They're
What
really.
are they doing in Miami Lakes?
He's got his own business, Touch of Class Enterprises. He's good. He dabbles in all kinds of things. He was always one of those.
We need to get you down there, and let's all go
Yeah,
out to dinner one
should.
night. And
This guy, he's a blonde hair, blue eyed Swede, but he's from North Carolina, so he's just real country, but he's really good looking. And when we were young, he used to get himself so. That, I love this story. I got to tell you. We tripped on acid. It was the first day we ever did, and when we know he was 25, I was 22. I thought he had just gotten out of the army. We met in Nashville because he was visiting when we moved to Florida together, and he had like 45 different girlfriends at a time. And this is way back when I was in the closet, you know, and he's like one of the first people I came out to, and he was a great friend about it, and we're still tight to this day. But we just tripped our asses off, had the best day. We driving around his little yellow Triumph, and we got thrown out of a Rolls Royce dealership, and blah 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 blah. So we go, but we lived on 135th and Biscayne, which I understand now is not such a great neighborhood, but it used to be great. I mean, we lived at the Waterside Tower, which is right down, you know, blah blah blah. We lucked into this apartment as punk kids, and we went for a swim. We go back upstairs. Remember those dolphin shorts were real popular back then, right? So I'm wearing a pair of dolphin shorts, and I'm just watching TV, and he goes, "Hey, this girl's coming over that I'm kind of banging, but she's older." She was like 35, right, at the time. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. So the buzzer rings from the lobby. She comes up, and I hear him talking to the floor, and he starts laughing. He comes over, and he goes, "Hey, man, do you think maybe you could put on some underwear or a jock or something?" And I looked down, and all my junk's hanging out. And I was like, "I'm sorry." So I just go back to my bedroom, right? Well, 6 months later, it's really important. 6 months later, I go on a job interview at a Sheraton hotel for a bartending job, and I'm wearing khaki pants and a blue blazer and a red striped club tie, and I hand the woman my resume. It's this very pretty woman, and she sits down, and she looks at it, and she goes, "Well, you certainly look a lot different without your balls hanging out." I went, "Excuse me?" She goes, "I'm David's friend," and it all came rushing back. I was like, "Oh my God." I go, "Well, I guess I took up enough of your time already." But she hired me.
Of course she did.
But that's a
She
good
saw what
story,
your balls
man.
looked like.
Yeah, right. A long time ago. I guess that's kind of our time, right? Is there anything else you want to add? We could sit here and talk all day.
We could. I can come back the end of the week.
Do you want to?
Yeah. Well, I'll come back the end of the week.
What? No, oh, not this week. We don't have, right? It would have to be
We
next
should
week.
do like, can you do it over the?
Over the phone? Can you call in? You can call in for. Can
I've
you call?
done calling.
Would you do maybe if we could work it out like a little call in,
Yeah.
like not every single show,
No,
but when you
but-
get back home?
Yeah,
Oh, that'd be sweet. How about that, Sam?
that's good.
Yeah, neato. We'd have a question a week. Is anybody dialing our number? What the fuck is wrong with you people? I don't even remember what it is.
They're nervous.
You remember what it is?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, with the Bob Dean Show. Yeah.
yay.
Has a call-in number where you can post comments and questions and ask me about who does my hair and because we know you're watching people because people are coming into my bar going, "I freaking love your show," blah 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 blah, or our show. But I always forget to tell them that because forever I'm like, "Sammy, we need a phone number. People can call in," and now I can't even remember what it is.
Oh, let me get it. Hold
It's
on.
written down here in the podcast Bible somewhere.
I got it.
It is
Is 323
323
300
300
4092.
4092. 323 300 4092. That's the number. And it's strange when you call it, because it doesn't just go, hello, you have reached the Bob Bean Show. It goes through this like Google phone app recording message, something. So please let us know what you think, even if it's bad, because I could care less what anybody thinks. I guess, let's see what else. Oh, I will be at Bar Lubitsch doing a set on April Fool's Day, April 1st. I think that's a Monday night. And Bar Lubitsch is cool. It's an old bar that I didn't even know existed on. You ever been there?
No, where is it?
It's on Santa Monica Boulevard, and it's like an old. It's not like it's done up like an old bar. It's an old bar, and they've got a room in the back where they do stand up, and it's a really cool room. So I will be there with Speakeasy Comedy, Ray Ray's, and his group, and that's the only show I've got coming up that I'm aware of right now. Hopefully more to come after the restaurant closes. And again, let's see what else. I don't think did I forget anything? That's it. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Please, please, please subscribe to us on iTunes. You can also follow the Bob Bean Show, if you would please, on iHeartRadio, on your apps on your phones. If you have an Android device, it is Stitcher, Stitcher, and watch us on YouTube and dream about me. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
I love you both. And Samee, thanks